Sounds good. So, um, yeah, so from the dashboard, as Jeremy had pointed out, like if you're just trying to get started into something, the best place to start is going to be the create button. However, you can still search for some things here if you want to do that. But if I click the create button, what I'm going to actually do, you can do these as standalones if you would like. But I'm going to start with the lesson, and then what's nice is as we do the lesson, you'll actually see that some of these elements, assessment, interactive video, can be built into the lesson. So once you click lesson, it's going to prompt you for what kind you want to do, right? So like the create from Google Slides, you can do that if you would like, and you can get in there on that. There's a quiz add-on extension that can be used, and I'll show that a little bit later. And then you have the import slides option, which is nice because then you can pull things from your Google Drive if you would like to. So you just go into there. And you'll be able to access different things that are in your drive that you would like to pull in. We're not going to focus all of our attention here, but just know that these options are available to you. You can upload a PDF as well. There's some instructions on how to import from PowerPoint. But I would encourage you to explore those. There's going to be some things that maybe lend themselves more to that, particularly like if you've got lessons and you already have a basic structure of your lesson and you like it, but you want to add some of the different interactivity pieces that Quizizz offers, maybe making some, like a more static looking PowerPoint that you've used in the past, a little bit more interactive. Now, we're going to spend our time here and we're going to go into the create from scratch. This is obviously if you don't have a lesson on something and you want to just start from scratch and pull in some different elements to that. There's a little bit of a thing here on what's available, which is great. We'll cover some of this as we go through, but so I'm going to delete that for now. And if you add a new slide, I'm just going to build this out and I'm going to use ancient Egypt as my theme. So let's say I want to start with a slideshow from the very beginning. And what we're going to do is we're going to incorporate bits and pieces of what you see in this top menu and then question type. And we'll get a little bit into like the open-ended and draw section as well. You can see like much of it is still needing that upgrade. So explore the free features first, start there, see if those are something that can, get you by, and then determine, yeah, I would really like to utilize some of these other ones. Particularly if you want to do like some of the graphing and math stuff, that's big. But let's start here. We're going to do a title slide. And what it will do is it will give you some options for templates. You can change the theme if you would like. So maybe I want to do something like this and apply to the slides. Let's grab this here. We'll actually do it this way. Let's grab this one and then apply to all, and that's our new style. Okay. So what I like about Quizizz is the ability to pull things in quickly and be able to edit them with relative ease. So I could say for this, we're going to say ancient Egypt for our title. And we're going to do take a trip with us down the Nile. Now, you'll notice too, when you're editing text boxes and things like that, what's nice is if you click on it, you're actually going to see at the top this area appear up here where you can change the format of the text, and then you can also do some things like inserting links. There's some equation stuff there too, but for the sake of this, let's just make this a little bit bigger. Um, we will do, I don't know if that's maybe too big. Let's go with that. Let's see. We'll leave the font for now. This one we want to make a little bit bigger. It's a little bit small. Maybe we'll go with like 60, something like that. And we're going to be a little bit quick on it. You know, you could spend hours designing this if that's your thing. Um, by all means, go ahead. But one of the things that I really like as well is that when you're working with images and things like that, you can pull images directly from a web search here. So now if I do replace image, right, it's going to give me three options. One of them is to upload from my computer directly. I can do that. I can also, so if I get rid of that image, this is where you'll find that. Okay. And then you have a paste link where you could grab the link of the image and put that in. But what I really like is this ability to search. And I can pull in ancient Egypt. And I could utilize any of these here. Maybe I don't like the first page. I'm going to go to my second page here and see if I can find something that I feel is, you know, very representative of ancient Egypt. So maybe we grab, let's go with this one. That'll work. So it's going to put it into frame here. You can, you know, modify it a little bit with stretching, and then you can save it. And then once it's in, there you got it. Now, this one, maybe we don't like it as much because of its, you know, style of, it was more of a horizontal picture within that frame. But don't worry, you can, you know, move the corners and the sides around to make it fit a bit more. All right, now that we've got our intro slide, we can build out a little bit of a lesson here. So what I'd like to do is we're going to add in some stuff with this, but I'm going to go down to open-ended. And since this is the start of our unit, I'm actually going to put in, what do you know about ancient Egyptian civilization? Okay. And so this would be like a, you know, pre-assessment that we could do. And I'm going to put in, we can add a little bit of style to this here. You'll notice I'm running out of free images. That's something to pay attention to as well. Let's grab this one. Okay. Now, with any of the question type stuff, what you'll want to do is put in like your initial structure of it, and then just be aware you do have some formatting things available to you. But then on the right-hand side, you also have a point total option. Goes from ungraded up to 20. And then like for this pre-assessment, I would just do ungraded. And then you can actually put a time limit on how long they have as well. And then in addition to that, you can add an answer explanation. Now, this will be good for some situations where there's maybe a more definitive answer. I won't do anything like an answer explanation necessarily for this because it's just a pre-assessment and we want to know, have them be able to write, you know, everything that they might know. Now, if we preview this, this is what it's going to look like to the student. So when they see it, when it's delivered to them, they're going to write their response in this area here. So, and that's where, you know, it comes in handy with integrating Google Classroom and stuff like that, because then you're going to see what students said what, and it'll tag their response to them. So something to be aware of there. But that's our second slide. So now we have a pre-assessment built into our lesson. And then next, what I want to do is, okay, you've answered a pre-assessment. Now let's start to learn about it, right? Let's start to learn about ancient Egypt civilization. So what I might do next is I might throw in like a web page link here. And this again is another really great feature, because what we will do is I'm going to grab a link here. Okay, so this is Britannica. This is ancient Egypt. And so what we could do is actually take our link, and then we're going to insert it right here. It's going to show us a little preview of what it looks like, and we'll hit save. And then this will allow them to see the web page from Quizizz. And when the student is viewing it, what they can do then is actually scroll within the structure of the Quizizz assignment, which is awesome. You could open it in a new tab if you would like to, but I really like this particular thing that you can designate that web page as a focus for the students, and they can navigate through that here.
So there's no way that a kid can say, "Oh, I got lost. I couldn't find where I was supposed to go," because
Right.
it's all right there.
Yeah, exactly. So and I love it because you can click on stuff like it's no different than visiting the actual web page itself. It's just that it's built within the Quizizz structure that you have for this lesson. So it's really cool. Okay, so there it is. That's our third slide. Love that feature a lot. Then maybe what we do is, what if we want to pull in, like, there's some different options here, like text and media options with images and things. So like, you could build out something like this. I'm not going to put this in mine, but there's going to be some uses for some of this stuff as well. Then you get into, like, there's full screen media. This one is part of that premium feature. So what I am going to actually end up showing with this is the interactive video option. And what I love about this is that they've got this whole library of videos from really well-known channels. Like, you're obviously, like, Crash Course would be a good one for this. You can see on the left, they've got popular channels here. And what I like is you've got three options up top. One of them is to search through the Quizizz library. And the benefit of that is, like, if I say something like ancient Egypt, right? Civilization, it's going to scour all of the different channels for potential options for me. And so I really like that. And one of the things that's even cooler about that is that you have, like, you can filter by grade. Let's say for 9th grade, and then by subject. And what you'll notice is it will give you the video here, and then it will typically give you the grade level it's intended for. And then you have this next little tag here on the right is how many questions are part of this. So in other words, this is a quiz that has already been designed that you can use. You can pull in, YouTube videos by just pasting it. So if you wanted to grab a video and throw it in there, you can, or you can upload a video as well. But let's access the already made quizzes. I think that will be very helpful for us. And let's see if we can grab. I'm going to go down a little bit on this because I think. There's one in particular I'm looking for. Let's try this. Explain. And we'll just open this up. Oh, here it is. Okay, perfect. So this one, 6th through 10th grade, 10 questions. And what I'm going to do is select it. And then what I love is it gives you the video, and then it gives you all the questions so that you can look them over. And then it also gives you timestamps of when those questions are occurring. So this reminds me a little bit of Ed Puzzle style, where you have the little teardrops and where those questions can be found. So that's really great. And then what you can do from here is add it to your lesson, and there we go. Now you can also when you're looking at this, if you want to like look at the questions and edit them, you can. You can also see if I can get out of here real quick. You can edit the questions individually. You could delete them. So let's say that I don't really like this question because we didn't talk about it. So I'm going to delete that question. Right. Let's say that um, I want to change this question. I could modify it.
What as you're typing there, it does remind me of Ed Puzzle, but with the way that the responses are on there, it also kind of reminds me a little of Kahoot with
Yeah,
the
that's
different
true.
colors with the terms filled in there too, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. It's incorporating some of the best pieces of other platforms that have been around a little bit. So it's good. Um, so you can modify this, and then you can also still change like the point total. So maybe you want some to be worth more. Maybe you want to give more time on it. Maybe this one does make sense to have an answer explanation. All that's available to you. And then the other thing that's great is that you have your questions, your initial questions, right? But you can also add in more questions. So, in other words, take what's been created within the Quizizz library of content, and then make it your own, right? Change some of the questions, add questions. There's a lot here in terms of its versatility, and that's one of the greatest things about it is the ability to do that. When it's if you want to take a quick look at it, you can always click preview and go to what it will look like to the students. And so this is what the students would see, and they would select their answers. Right, so you can click on that. Okay. And they can go through and you can take a look at what that's going to look like for them. And then uh, going into the next thing, what we have is some other options here that I think are really interesting to take a look at. One of them is going to be this draw option. And so with this, excuse me, we would do something like fill in the Egyptian hierarchy using the pyramid. Okay. And I've exhausted my daily limit. That's sad. Um all right. So let's do this. I will show you.
That's rough, you know.
Yeah, it is. Um I'll show you here what I've got for the Egyptian hierarchy. This is one that I had created before. So I basically just pulled in this image, but then I want to show you what is allowed with this system when you're the student. So if you're, if we look at the preview, this is what it would look like to the student. And they could actually, ideally, you probably want to be on a pad or, some sort of touch device. But what I like is here I could put, I can grab my pen. Um, Here we go. This is what I was looking for. Okay, so there's this little try it out button. So that's actually a good thing to point out, because if you're confused like I just was and you click the preview, that's just going to show you what it looks like. If you want to try it out as the student, this is where you actually want to click. So students will draw their responses here, and then what you can do is you actually start to write. And what I like about it is you see how it starts to flatten your writing, and it makes it a little bit more legible, which is nice. Um, and you could change the color, you can change the thickness if you want. That's a little too thick. See if it recognizes what I'm trying to write. I don't know. Priests. Yeah. So that's why I like to stay thin on it. But if you mess up and it looks like that, you could always hit the undo button and make it a little bit more legible.
To me, this looks like it'd be a lot easier to do like on a touchpad device, touch Chromebook or an iPad, rather
Yep.
than trying to draw it with a trackpad or mouse.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, and then I think the last thing I want to show before Jeremy takes us into the flashcards is you also have like some fill in the blank. There is open-ended here, which we did earlier. Polls, word clouds, those are all part of the free version. But I want to show you the multiple choice. And this is very similar to what you would have seen within that Quizizz library when we pulled the Egyptian video, right? It's kind of that Kahoot looking style. Here, and Quizizz has made it their own. But I could do something like, let's see, like this here. So for this one, I just wrote in which of these is the god Horus, and then you put that in as your multiple choice question. You can add pictures with this. You can also do narration and video, but that's part of the premium. And then you could put in, I could have put in a text response there if the question was matching that, but in this case, I'm actually looking for them to identify based on image. So what I did was I just pulled in images here. So like if you go, this is what you would see, right? So it's that same searching out in Google Images for these. And then what you want to do is just select the correct answer. So when they choose that as the student, they're going to be able to click on it and see what the actual correct answer is there. So you can also change over from, if there's more, you could do multiple correct answers. So some questions, that's going to be more appropriate, but for this particular one, it's just going to be the single correct answer. So, all right, that's what I got. A lot of cool stuff to explore here, even just within the free version. Jeremy, I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, but that is my attempt at using Quizizz, courtesy of our introduction to it by Amber. So.